Vegas, baby. Let's go. Going to fly out tonight in a couple hours, actually, to Vegas. Pretty excited. Been waiting for this for months on end. This is going to be another vlog series for my trip. I hope I have some good luck, good run of cards, and let's see what happens here. But yeah, playing in 7 events, playing the World Series, 4 events there, 2 events at the Venetian, and 1 event at the Aria. So 7 events coming. And I'm really pumped. I actually practiced last night, jumped onto Poker Stars just to practice some of the ideas I've been playing with. Lo and behold, I ended up chopping for first. So it was a very, very nice gift before going to Vegas here to have some extra cash in hand. So I'm pretty excited. I'm ready to go. I'm feeling pretty confident. So yeah, let's get going. What's up, you guys? Here in Vegas. Got here last night and had some drinks and then went to bed. I'm in the middle of the strip right now. I'm getting ready for a tournament at 11 o'clock at the Aria, which is right behind me. And I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, just got on break right now at the Aria, my first tournament. Had a little rough start, but been doing pretty good so far. Starting stacks 25K, I grinded up to 40K. Nothing too exciting. One of the notable hands was I had ace jack off with the ace of hearts. Early position raises, I flat, big blind 3 bets, but he makes it on the small side, which made early position and me call. I don't think I can really fold ace jack there for such a small sizing, even though I'll be out of position the rest of the hand. The flop is king, 3 king, 2 spades. So I have backdoor flush draws, backdoor straight draws, over card. It goes check, big blind down bets again, like 5th pot, quarter pot, like really small. I think he's supposed to bet big there, but early position folds and I call. I maybe could have went for a check raise there, but I just decided to call there. Turn is a 10. I check, he checks, and then the river is an ace, so I pair my ace, and then I decide to do the down betting, bet like quarter pot, and he ended up calling. So I'm not sure what exactly he had there, because I just showed my ace jack and he mucked. Must have been some type of awkward pair, or he paired the 10 or something, I don't know. That was a decent sized pot too, even though I may or may not should have even been in that at all. The next notable hand, I had ace 10 from the low jack, ace 10 suited, 2 hearts, hijack next to me calls. This kid's been a little bit too loose and aggressive. The flop is 7-8-4, 1 heart. I decided to check range there. He down bets and I check raise with 2 overs, backdoor straight draw and backdoor flush draw. He calls, the turn's a queen, and I go half pot and he folds. So kind of got a little awkward there on the turn. I didn't know exactly what to do, but thank God that bet just ended up taking down the pot right there. So doing pretty well overall, feeling pretty confident. Like I said, the kid to my left, he's young and he put these like weird looking Oakleys on, and I'm just like, this guy's gonna be pretty aggressive, but thankfully he's been like down betting. His small sizes have been kind of punishing him. And then the guy to my right was like a GTO wizard, and thankfully he got knocked out. So yeah, doing pretty well so far, and I'll see you guys at next break. We're at second break here, got about 70K in chips from a starting stack of 25K, so doing really well. Been card dead for the last 2 hours, but I had aces and queens. Those are the only 2 hands I had. I won both of them, so I had aces, and I think I misplayed this a little bit. I was on the cutoff, hijack raises, I 3-bet. The button was really short, and he just flatted 6K, which is kind of weird. Hijack folds, flops like super dry. It's like 10-8-3 or something. There was like 12K in the pot, 12, 13, 14K, and he only had like 10, 11 back or something, so I didn't really see much point of betting small. I could have bet small, but I just just open ripped it, and he unfortunately folded. But about an hour later, I had queens and just a short stack, 4-bet ace-5 of clubs. So he tried to pull off the bluff with ace-5 of clubs. I just woke up with queens. So yeah, doing good right now. 70K, like I said, and see you guys next break. All right, on third break here, I'm running on fumes, unfortunately. When I got about 50K left, so I'll be starting on super short stack, like 12 bigs or something like that. So not great, but just card dead for 2 hours. I had a couple raise and takes. The only big mistake I made was I had queen jack suited in middle position. I raised, guy to my left called, the guy to his left called, and that guy was like a huge chip leader, super loose, super aggressive. The flop was a jack, and I just straight up chickened out and ended up just checking because I was out of position against two players. My jack's not that great of a jack. I'm losing to ace jack and king jack. I pretty much gave up. I needed to bet at least for protection, and I didn't. And of course, it went check check. Of course, the ace hits, so the perfect situation. They bet, and then I folded and just gave up pretty much. The other big hand was I had pocket kings, 2 black kings with the king of spades. For some reason, under the gun limped, and I was right next to him, and I made it like 3x, 3.2, 3.5. The flop was ace, 6, 7, 3 spades. He checked, and I bet 1 big blind, which is a little trick. You're supposed to bet like really small on those monotone boards. He calls, the turn's an ace, he checks. I decided to check back this time. The river is a spade. He checks, and I bet 2/3 pot. So I bet about 20K into about 30K, and I only had like maybe 20 left after that. He tank called, so he definitely had an ace there since he called. There's nothing else he's calling, or a weaker spade, I guess. But so that was a huge pot, but just been completely card dead pretty much, and yeah, let's go. Just got knocked out of the Aria, 400. Of course, bubbled, go figure. There were 300 players, 35 got paid, and I finished in 40th, so 5 spots from the money. That sucks, man. Playing for, 8-hour days and not to min cash at least is painful, but I was grinding 10 to 15 big blind stack for the last 2 hours, 3 hours. Again, just super card dead, but I had like 14 bigs on the button, hijack opened, and I jammed with king, queen suited. I didn't feel good in my gut jamming that against that player who was tight, but king, queen suited is just way too damn good of a hand to just open muck. I mean, I guess I could have flatted there too, but anyways, he had ace 10 and I just missed. Super frustrating. I could have played super tight and probably made the money, but I'm not here to min cash. I'm here to, win these things. So I'm still gonna shove proper ranges. I think I did miss 1 or 2 shoves, but they were at like the bottom of the range anyway, so not that big of a deal. But yeah, so done for the night. I'm gonna go get some dinner and relax for the rest of the night. See ya. Well, it's really quiet over here. I'm hiding over in the Rio right now in the convention center. It's a huge place. Trying to find somewhere quiet so I can do these videos. But I just registered for a bunch of tournaments. It's quite the process. You have to have your ID, your total rewards card, then you have to get cleared for the vaccination. And then they have to clear you there and see your picture and your face and all that stuff. So it's been pretty fun, but yeah, I'm ready to go tomorrow for the Colossus. See you guys tomorrow. Whew, okay. Hi. So today's the Colossus. I know the lighting right now is really sketchy, but just trying to find a quiet place, not by like 1,000 people. So, playing the Colossus. I'm actually at dinner break right now. I didn't update you guys on the first or second break because I was just completely card dead. Nothing really happened at all. So we started with 40,000 in chips. I'm at dinner break right now with 60,000 in chips, which not bad. I got up to 88,000, but the big hand that I doubled plus on was I had ace 5 of spades in the small blind. I think it went like early position raise, middle position call, hijack call. I know with like, I had like 20, maybe 25 bigs. I know that can be a jam with ace 5 spades suited, but I don't think it's gonna get through 3 people. So I just decided to flat from the small, and the big blind called. Flop was king 10 9, 2 spades. I check, big blind checks. The original raiser makes it like 65 into a pot of about 14,000. I had about 22,000 behind, so I had the nut flush draw. I opted to jam. Big blind rejammed, and then the original raiser folded. So big blind had 8 7 of spades, so he had an up and down straight draw and a flush draw, but his flush draw was no good. So I had to dodge a lot of outs. I had to dodge an 8, a 7, 6, a jack. Could have been pretty bad, but thank God it went brick, and got a double plus some. And I'm glad he jammed, because the original raiser folded a king actually, which would have been pair, would have been good. I just had ace high was good. So that was the big hand. So got up to 80, and then just blinds got a little higher, and nothing much happened after that. So catch you guys up soon. All right, on the next break on the Colossus, it's been a really long day. It's already been like 9 hours. I'm really tired. It's been pretty crazy. So right after the last break, or the dinner break, somebody jammed 8s into my queens, so I won that. Double up there. About an hour later, early position raise. This guy on my right, he was on the low jack, called, and I made it 27,000, which was about almost 3x. He ended up tank jamming deuces, and I had ace king offsuit, and I, snap called his all in. Deuces are not a 4-bet jam there. That's a clear fold. So bad mistake by him, and unfortunately it cost me, and I didn't win the coin flip. So that kind of pissed me off. I was pretty tilted after that, because that knocked me down to like 20 big blinds. And then not too, like a couple hands later, somebody jammed king queen into my ace queen, won that. That helped. That got me back up to about 80K. And then the very big interesting hand, I think it was like middle position raised. I had ace king off, but somebody flashed an ace of spades. I usually 3-bet ace king obviously there, but with the ace gone, I thought it'd probably be a bad idea to 3-bet there. So I just flatted. The flops ace 10 7, all 3 hearts, and he bet half pot, about 8K into 16K. I didn't have any hearts unfortunately, but I still called. The turn was a king, so I have top 2 pair, but obviously I had some 3 hearts out there and a straights out there too. So I only had 25 bigs to start the hand, 27 or something like that, so that's worth pretty much, if you have top 2, you're pretty much just gonna go all in no matter what. But he ends up betting 16,000. Of course there's a car horn going off. So he bet 16,000 into 30,000 or something like that. I didn't think queen jack was in his range because he's been a really tight player. I obviously block aces and kings. The only hands he can really have is like jacks and queens there, but I'm not sure why he's betting into 2 overcards. I mean, he has a straight draw. Maybe he had the ace of heart or the queen of hearts, but I had like, I decided to just min click and make it 32,000. He ended up tank folding queens. I think I was gonna jam no matter what. I kind of just min clicked him to freeze him because I honestly didn't know what to do because it's such a wet board. But I think I'm getting it all in, even if he jams the river or what. I don't think it really matters, but that was a big pot. So I'm up to 124,000 right now, which is really cool. It's about 30 to 40 big blinds, something like that. So yeah, hopefully I keep this run going. All right, on break. I have no idea what break this is. I've been playing for almost 13, 14 hours today in the Colossus. Been a long grind. We're about 2 more line levels until cash and day 2. So it's gonna come down to the wire like usual with me. Got 120K, I got up to 180K, but just been kind of card dead. I did crack aces. I was on small blind with ace king, and he jammed from the button with aces, and the flop came king king, so I was able to crack aces. That was nice. Another weird, bizarre hand was I raised tens under the gun. I got raised from the low jack. I called the flops like 7, 6, 4. I check, he checks, turns like a 6. I bet like third pot. He calls. The river is like a 5, so it puts us straight on the board, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I checked. I probably should have just down bet small, but he just open rips it, and that was for my whole stack. And there's a straight on the board. You know, it's not that easy of a call because there's a chance there's an 8 in his hand. But I was thinking, what hands does he have that he's gonna 3-bet pre-flop with an 8? You know, pocket 8s don't really 3-bet in his spot. Sometimes they do, so maybe he could have had them. Ace 8. Unlikely, not this kind of player would do that, I don't think. Also the fact that if he had pocket 8s, I think he would have c-bet the flop since there's 3 low cards. So I tanked with pocket 10s, which are just garbage. I'm basically calling to chop my entire stack, so decided to call and just chop. But yeah, that was a big hand. So yeah, going back from break and gonna have only, you know, like I said, 15 bigs left, so hopefully we make it to day 2. Well, here we are. Good news and bad news. Bad news is I got knocked out of the Colossus, but the good news is we cashed. Yay! Finally, it feels so good after playing a friggin' 14-hour day. I'm exhausted, super tired. It's about 2:30 right now, Las Vegas time, and I'm still on Michigan time, so I'm like, it's like 6 a.m. where I'm at, my head. So pretty tired, but very excited. Yeah, for the last couple hours, just been grinding a short stack, jump in between 10 and 20 bigs. Got a couple just jams through. Everyone was playing super tight to make the money, so I was just stealing blinds. Got up to like 190K, and then my very last hand, they counted down 5 hands until the bag your chips and move on to day 2. And I've never made it day 2. I've always wanted to. Of course, there's a train going by. But, you know, again, my goal is not to bag. My goal is to, you know, win a tournament. So I was on the small blind with ace 4 of diamonds. I had 15, maybe 16 bigs. Small blind versus big blind. I know you can limp a lot of hands, but I just decided to jam. And of course, he wakes up, big blind wakes up with aces. So that was just horrible, horrible timing. I think for that amount, 15, 16 bigs, I think I could have limped and then jammed. So it's probably going in anyways. Like ace 4 diamonds is still pretty good. But all I had to do was fold that hand. I would have bagged for day 2. But even if I made day 2, I would have had to wait 2 days and then would have started with like 10 big blinds. Not that big a deal, but I'm still pretty happy, especially after playing all day yesterday too and bubbling. So feel pretty good. Still got a lot of tournaments to go, so let's keep it up. So out of 4,200 players on day 1A, I finished in 489th, and I took home $700, which is just a min cash. The buy-in was 400, so I only won 300. But hey, man, money's money. I'll take it. And like I said, it feels really good to cash after playing all friggin' day. So I'll take it. Hey, what's up you guys? Today is Monday. Only got a couple days left and a couple tournaments left. Today I played the YSOP World Series of Poker $600 deep stack. Pretty fun. I was pretty active, had a lot of playable hands. I wasn't too card dead, but they were all like small pots, little raise and takes and C bets, nothing too eventful. So it was like win a couple, lose a couple, here back and forth. So starting stack was 30K. I played for about 6-7 hours, got up to about 40K, so nothing too exciting. Then I got down to, I think like it was like a big hand. I had 30K, which at the time was 30 big blinds, and I ended up having a pair and a flush draw. So, and when you're 30 big blinds and have a pair and a flush draw, it's really strong and it's usually going in no matter what. Basically, I was in the small blind, under the gun raised, under the gun +1 called, and I was in the small blind with ace-6 of diamonds, and I decided to call. Obviously, against those two ranges, they're very strong, and I think that may have given me a hint to play it a little bit more cautiously, but like I said, a pair and a flush draw. But basically, the flop was king, jack, 6, 1 diamond, so I had a pair and a backdoor nut flush draw. So it goes check, 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 which is kind of weird because you expect the under the gun ranges, both those ranges, to have a king or a jack in their hand. Turn was a 4 diamonds or something. So I had the nut flush draw and a pair of 6s. Checks, under the gun checks, and then under the gun +1 bets about 6K into like 15K or something like that. So I only had 27 left into a pot of 16,000 plus or something like that. So I was considering, I tanked for a bit because I was like, okay, what hands am I like completely crushed by? There's a spade flush draw on the board too, so I'm like, well, if they have like 2 pair or set, like it's probably just smart to bet there, get value for your hands, you know, get value from the flush draws and stuff like that. So I did not expect anybody to be slow playing anything. So I decided to jam. It went re-jam and call. So obviously I ran into king jack and the other guy ended up mucking, but the river was a jack. So I missed on flush draws and I needed an ace-6 or a diamond, and unfortunately just bricked out. And he ended up with a full house at the end. But I don't hate my play with that stack to pot ratio. Like my stack to pot, I think, was like almost 2-to-1, and I figured that was a good amount to have like enough fold equity to make the other two fold out since they both checked. I think I'm not that far behind, and I really wasn't. I still had tons of equity if I was wrong, if my bluff didn't go through, and just unfortunately just ran into somebody that was slow playing top 2 pair. But yeah, so I'm done for the night and about to go grab some dinner and relax. All right, today I'm playing the Venetian 1100. I just got knocked out, actually. It's been pretty rough. I played for about 5-6 hours. Did not have good luck. I don't think I played well at all, to be honest. There's a couple calls I should have folded and a couple folds I should have probably called. Tough spots. The big first hand, I had pocket 9s from the cutoff player to my left on the button. Re-raises, I call, flop is 10-8-8, I check, he bets, I call, the turn is a 10, board is 10s and 8s right now, I check, he bets again, I call, the river is a 10, so I check and he bets huge. He overbets the pot by like, I think he made it like 3 or 4x, which was a huge bet, which makes it look, you know, super bluffy, which is what it's designed to do. So I basically just told him like, well, I know ace king would do this exact same thing, so you know, I hope you have that hand. So I ended up calling. My thought was that even though I think it's probably under bluffed in that spot, the same thing kind of happened to me the other day where someone was just bluffing big on the river in order to just fold out chops. So they would just take the pot right there and, you know, not chop the pot. But I was actually beating chops at least with a pair of 9s. So I had, you know, full house, 10s full of 9s. But anyways, he ended up rolling over kings. So it's probably just a bad call there. And I was a little tilted that I made that call. So a couple hands later, I played with another guy on my left. And he was kind of an odd player, but I basically raised under the gun with pocket 10s. He called. The flop is 5-4 deuce. I c-bet small. He re-raises. I call. The turn is a 4. I check and he jams. I don't think he has any of that board because he was pretty early positioned, so he shouldn't have any of those smaller pocket pairs. He would have re-raised pre-flop, so I don't think he has any over pairs. I don't exactly know what he has, but he jammed for pretty small, so I ended up calling. And he had 6-3 offsuit, which was flopped the nuts, and obviously I was just drawing dead. So just a very, very sick hand. It's impossible to put them in on that hand. So that was pretty rough. That knocked me down really, really small. And then I just grinded for about 4 hours. Got back up, went back down, and just couldn't get anything going really. So I'm out for the Venetian. Tomorrow is my last tournament, and that's gonna be at the World Series mini main event. So I'll see you then. All right, I'm on dinner break right now of the mini main event. This is my last tournament of the trip. I fly out tomorrow. I haven't had any updates for the other breaks just because it's been very, very boring. I've been super card dead. I think I won about one hand in 5 hours. And then I got really short, got down to like 6 big blinds, just getting blinded out essentially, and got 2 doubles in. So just grinding still. Once I get back from dinner break, I'll be at about 10 big blinds. So still super short, but hopefully we go on a roll soon. All right, on break right now at the mini main and doing really well. I went on a nice little heater, got 2 double ups pretty quick after that last break. And then this old man who's been donking into the flop and bluffing the flop with garbage this entire tournament. My read finally worked on this guy. He limped from like middle position. I was on big blind with like 9-5 offsuit. It was a 9 of spades, and the flop's like 5-8 deuce, 2 spades. So I have like middle pair. I check and he just jams all in. I snap call him, because I know he doesn't hit any of that board, and I was right. He had ace deuce off, so he had no pair, nothing. So I figured even if I was wrong, I had backdoor straight flush draws and a pair, so I was pretty confident I'm not going anywhere. So that was huge to knock him out. Got a big chip stack, but the big hand, this kid to my right in the low jack, shoved all in. I called with 8s. He had pocket 5s with the 5 of clubs. The flop is jack 10 5 2 clubs, so he flops a set. So I was pretty upset about that. Turn was a 9 of clubs, so there's 3 clubs. I have an up and down straight draw, but he has a 5 of clubs, so it's gotta be a 7 or a queen that's not a club, and I got lucky in being the 7. That was not a club, so that was a huge double up. And I'm doing pretty good. I have 260K on this break, so I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, on the next break, it's 12 hours into the tournament. I'm really tired. I've been grinding all day. Had a really, really big hand. Raised on the button with ace deuce suited, big blind defended. The flop is queen 8-8, 1 spade. He checks, I do like third pot. He calls, the turn is 10 spades. So now I have a nut flush draw, but this time he leads into me, but he leads for about a third pot, and I called. I got lucky on to river a 4 spades, so I had the nut flush. And he checks, and we both had about pot sides left, and I jammed all in, and he tanked for a couple minutes and ended up calling. I don't know what he had, but it was a monster pot. It got me up to 560,000, which was huge at the time. That was like 40, 50 big blinds. I've been grinding for the last hour or so. Nothing's really happened. I did, unfortunately, double another player up for almost half my stack. So that was pocket 10s versus pocket queens. He only had like 15 bigs left, and it's just got to go in at that point. Those hands play themselves. So unfortunately, right now I'm at 300,000, and the blinds are going to be 10 and 20, meaning I only have about 15 bigs left. And this is going to come down to the wire because there's about, I think, 50 spots left until money. So this is going to come down really tight. Just the min cash in this would pretty much pay for some of the trip. Hopefully talk to you guys on day 2. What's up? Oh my God, I made the money in the mini main event, and I also made day 2. I finally bagged, so it's super exciting, especially after my first day, the Colossus. I missed bagging by exactly 1 hand, so it's really, it feels awesome to make a day 2 in the mini main event here. And I played great near the end too. After we cashed, I made two great bluffs. I made 2 great bluffs. The first one, I had Jack 10 of clubs on the button and under the gun 1 raise pre-flop. The flop was King 7-3, 2 clubs, so I have a flush draw. He checks, I check. The turn is a 7. He bets about 65K into 160K, so about third pot. And I'm not really good at live reads, but he just looked like he was kind of uncomfortable throwing it out there. I considered raising, but I decided to just flat. The river was a blank, like an 8. I didn't hit my flush, but he checked it to me, and at this point I didn't have any way to win the pot except for bluffing, so I ended up jamming 200K into roughly 300K, so it was 2/3 bet. It's a little scary, but he snap folded, so that was awesome. The next big bluff, I had ace queen off on the button and the hijack raised. That's usually a 3 bet, but I was kind of admittedly playing cautiously against a big stack. And so I decided to just flat. The flop is 10-3 jack. He checks, I check. The turn is a 9. He bets 80K into a pot of about 160. I have an up and down straight draw with the queen, so I decided to raise this time. I made it 225,000. And I only had like maybe 200,000 back, so it was a big bluff. I'm glad it went through. He ended up folding. And those 2 big bluffs alone, once I made the money, I had 300,000 in chips. Between those 2 big bluffs, I got up to 700,000 in chips. So after that, I got moved to my final table. We only had a couple hands left. The very, very last hand, unfortunately, I lost a big hand. Button had only like 8 big blinds left, and I had ace 4 off in the big blind, and he jammed and I called. It's not the best hand, but for 8 big blinds, it's a call. He has queen 5 off, so he admittedly just wanted to make it to day 2 with a bigger chip stack or get knocked out. Flops ace queen 3, turn queen. So that really, really hurt. That really stung. I would have been over $1 million in chips starting day 2, but I'm starting with 550K. Blinds are going to be 20 and 40K when we start tomorrow, so I'll only have like less than 15 big blinds. So hopefully we get a good start to the day, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. All right, it's day 2 of the mini main event, and I went on a crazy run. I got up to 10 million in chips. I'm just crushing it right now, and I'm just kidding. I busted the second hand of the day. I had jacks in the small blind, under the gun, raised with ace jack of clubs, and of course I had him crushed, but unfortunately he flopped the nut flush and rivered the ace just for the hell of it. So very, very disappointing, but hey, I'm very happy with my play all day yesterday. I'm happy with the result. I'm also happy with the whole trip overall. I think I played pretty well, but had a great time in Vegas overall. Had some good drinks and good food, met some old friends. I got to play in 4 World Series events and cashed in 2 of them, so I'm very happy with those results. And yeah, I'm done for the day. I'm flying out, and I'll see you guys back in Michigan. Thanks for watching.